It has been a month since the Assad regime, which ruled Syria for 53 years across generations, collapsed under rebel attacks. Since the fall of the dictatorship, foreign intervention in Syria has become increasingly blatant, exploiting the power vacuum. To discuss how the dynamics of the Middle East surrounding Syria might be reshaped, we've invited an expert to join us. Professor Il-kwang from Sogang University's Euro-MENA Research Center is here with us. Welcome, Professor Song.
Thank you for having me.
So, following the sudden collapse of the Assad regime, the global attention has been paid to ensuring very orderly transitional power in that country. So my first question should be, how do you assess the current situation in Syria? Do you think it has entered a peaceful transition period?
I really hope so, but so I think so far so good. But I have two opposite news. One is good, and the other is bad. Which one do you want first?
Good news first, please.
Good news. I think good news. I can say the leader of the HTS, I mean the Hayat al-Tahrir al-Sham, the main group of the current interim government in Syria. The leader, his name is Ahmad al-Shara, or the previous name is Ahmad al-Jilani, right? So Ahmad al-Shara, he tried to show very, positive message, and he tried to send a positive message to the world. So his government is not an extremist government. Also, he tried to show that he can manage his situation on the ground, and he can secure or restore the law and order in Syria. I think this is good news. But the bad news is 2 weeks ago, the minority of the Syrian society, 10 or 15% of Syrian populations are Alawite, the small sect of the Shia Islam. So Alawite, they protested against the current government because of the Sunni extremists broke into their mosques and stopped their praying. So this is, I think, indicated that Syrian society is so fragile to fall apart. So I think it depends on how the leader, Ahmad Shara, can manage his situation on the ground, and he will make any real, authentic change in the Syrian society. So Syrian future depends on, his capacity, his ability on this.
Like you said, it seems that there are mounting challenges ahead of the Syrian people.
Yeah.
But at the same time, the rebel forces are trying to establish a cabinet, sending the messages of solidarity to other ethnic groups. So who are the rebel forces? Do you think they can establish a peaceful transition in that way?
The revolution groups are not monolithic, as you know. They are composed of the various, groups. Ideologically, these groups are from extreme Sunni jihadists to secular militias, ideologically. And ethnically, there are Sunnis and Arabs, as you know, the Alawite and Druze. There are lots of minorities in Syrian society. So the rebel groups try to show they are not extremists like Al-Qaeda or ISIS. They try to show positive messages. But I think the most important thing is not sending the message. I think the most important thing is what they really can do on the ground, and what they really can change in Syrian society. That's the main thing. So it is too early to predict. This Sunni Islamist regime really can change, really can make any change in Syrian society. So we need patience and wait and see.
Yes, certainly the domestic challenges is one thing to overcome. but also there are external factors that they have to deal with. That's another issue, right? So especially Iran, which has been a critical ally for the Assad regime, is facing lots of challenges because of the fall of Assad regime. So it's been reported that Iran has lost almost $50 billion because of that change. So I'm wondering, why did Iran spend so much money for the support of the Assad regime so far?
You know, let me introduce first Iran's security strategy. Iran's security strategy composed of three elements. The first element is a frontier strategy. It means Iran tried to build the proxies in the region, in the Middle East. Proxy, non-state organization or proxy state. So Syria was one of the proxy states of the Iran tried to build in the region. So the fall of Syria is very important and is really damage to the Iranian security strategy. That's why Iranians are very concerning about the situation in Syria. The second security strategy of Iran is build nuclear, development of nuclear bombing. So we are not sure they really try to develop a nuclear bomb, but they always say we don't want to make a bomb, but they have all the options on the table. So as you know, the Syria now is a threshold state. So this is a second. So the fall of Syria is, very important, not only for Iran, the whole country in the region. Especially, Iran tried to transfer the weapons and budget through Syria to Hezbollah in Lebanon. So now it's really difficult for Iran to transfer all the budgets, all the weapons, all the arms to Lebanon. So Iran is really in crisis now.
So specifically, what kind of steps that Iran can do to re-strengthening the axis of resistance in that region?
Of course, as you know, the Iran did not give up Syria and Hezbollah yet. Iran tried to build a new relationship, tried to establish a new relationship with the HTS, the current government in Syria. I don't know if they will succeed or not, but they try to. The second way they can do is they try to sending or transporting arms and budget through the airplane, by airplane or by a ship. So that's their option now trying to do. So we will wait and see if they will succeed or not.
Besides Iran, there is also Russia, which has been a critical ally for the Assad regime. So after the fall of the Syrian government, probably Russia is calculating its strategic move. What kind of next step do you think that Russia may think about?
Yeah, it's like Iran. Russia also lost a lot of things. As you know, Russia has a very important port in the Mediterranean Sea. As you know, the Tartus port is very important for Russia to navigate the Middle East, also in the Northern Africa. Also, Russia had a Khmeimim military airport in Syria. So they lost a very important strategic stronghold in the Syria. So they try to talk with HTS, or they try to talk with the Erdogan, the Turkey, because Turkey, Erdogan, the president of Erdogan, really helped the HTS to launch the attacks in Syria. So they try to talk with Turkey, or they try to talk with the Trump government. So in this way, they can maybe restore their interest in Syria.
Yeah, you just mentioned Turkey. While Iran and Russia are scaling back, we are seeing other nations are just feeling the security vacuum in that region. That's what I get. So Israel is actually increasing offensive in Golan Heights, and Turkey is increasing in its offensive against the Turkish forces. How do you see the outcome of this turmoil? Do you think that will have an impact on the stability in Syria?
Of course, that has a great, critical impact on the stability of Syria, I think. Especially, I think the most important key man for the future of Syria is President Erdogan. As I told you, he is the man who helped HTS to arm. He armed HTS, and he pushed HTS to launch against the Assad government. So he also tried to do some military operation in the SDF. As you know, the Syrian Democratic Forces, they are located in north eastern part of Syria. The SDF supported by US also. I think Erdogan's main goal is try to put SDF under the command of HTS. That's the main goal of Erdogan, because in Turkey, there are lots of Kurds living in Turkey. They try to build any autonomous government inside of Turkey. So Erdogan really hated that idea. So that's the main goal of the Erdogan, I think. So for the future of Syria, I think Erdogan's move is very important. That's why I think the coming government, Trump government, should talk with Erdogan to stabilize Syria.
So actually, another key foreign power is obviously the U.S. And President-elect Trump once mentioned that the U.S. is not going to be involved in this conflict. Do you think it's a good idea for the U.S. to engage Syria so that it can become a stable country? Or do you think it is good for the U.S. to stay away from it?
Absolutely, I think he should do something. Yeah. As you know, as you mentioned exactly, the first response of Trump to the Syrian crisis, this is not a U.S. fight. We're not gonna involve it. We'll stay out of it. But I think after he entered the White House, he will learn about it, and he will see, oh, this is a serious problem, because Syria, the Syrian crisis may lead to whole Middle East to another turmoil. So I think Trump should talk to Erdogan and to solve or to find any solution to satisfy Erdogan and the SDF in Syria. I think that's the best way.
Certainly, the situation in Syria reminded us the complexity of the situation there, and their situation is very closely intertwined with the differing interests of the neighboring countries. How will the situation in Syria reshape the political dynamics in this region, and why should we care about that?
That's a good point. First, the worst scenario is Syria became another the Libyan state or Somalia state. So endless civil war will occur again if nobody cares about it. So I think in this case, what about other countries, neighboring countries that are doing nothing? No, they will support for their interests. For example, Qatar, they will support, this HTS government. Or maybe Saudis and UAE will support maybe SDF. Maybe Israel will support SDF. As you know, we have a very good history. Israel has very good relationship Kurds in Iraq. So the U.S. should also support SDF. So there is going to be another, and there's a civil war and a proxy war. So I think we should very concerned about the situation in the Syria, pay attention to what's happening in Syria, and then we should prepare for what we can do. or what the thing we can secure our interests. I think, as you know, we don't have any official relationship with Syria before, because North Korea has first had a diplomatic relationship with Syria. So I think we should prefer, or as you know, the current government have met many officials from the Germany and France and UAE and Saudis. I think the time has come. I don't know when it's going to be, but we should prefer to contact with the current Syrian government to make any official or diplomatic relationship. I think that's a very important thing we should have to do.
Like you said before, it's too early to tell whether Syria will become a stable country, but that's something that we should pay attention to continuously, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I think that's all the time that we have for today. Thank you for your insights.
Thank you for having me.